Good evening, everyone. I think the market has been doing extremely good job, and in last 1 month, the sentiment has made a complete turnaround. In fact, there are many investors who have been waiting for the mid and small cap to correct, but it's defying the gravity. So we are going to discuss that. Opening few remarks from me, and then we'll open the floor for a question and answer. But before I start making presentation, a small disclaimer: this webinar is just for an education purpose. Please consult your financial advisor before buying or selling any stock. Please note that when you invest in the equity market, it's subject to invest market risk, and past performance is no indicator of future returns. So if you look at it before, I think, if you look at this picture, Charlie Munger, this gentleman, along with the Warren Buffett, is one of the best wealth creators in the stock market, because he was a co-owner of Berkshire Hathaway. And he died yesterday at the age of 99. Had he survived for a couple of months, he would have celebrated 100 years. And what I really like about this gentleman is that the kind of adversity he has to go through in the initial life, and yet he came back very strongly. At one point of time, because of the divorce, he lost everything because he had to give it to his wife and so on and so forth. But he bounced back, and he bounced back very strongly. And the one quote basically I really like the most about Charlie Munger, so there's a tribute to him basically. Why? Because what a fantastic brain. In fact, there is one book, if I would suggest you everyone to please, there is a video available of that, there is a transcript available on the web, which he talks about the psychology of human misjudgment. The psychology of human misjudgment. I think everyone should go to listen to that video, which gives you an idea about what are the things that you can basically concentrate on or avoid to create the wealth in the equity market. But there's one quote which I really like the most, and I want everyone to also apply that when you buy in your portfolio. Instead of buying a fair business at wonderful price, buy wonderful business at fair price. In other words, कोई भी कंपनी का कोई भी प्राइस पे लेने का कोई मतलब नहीं बनता है. Why? Because then you will, for donkey's years, you will keep waiting for company to go up and it will not. So that's what he says. You cannot buy a fair business at a wonderful price. बहुत ज़्यादा expensive दे दोगे, then your basically returns will. But he says, buy wonderful company at the fair price. In the sense, if there is a value in that business which is available at the fair price, please go ahead and buy. And I think this one quote, even Warren Buffett likes so much that this has become a very, very, in fact, Warren Buffett admitted in the public forum, this is what the best advice I ever received from Charlie Munger. So my request to all of you, please read or listen to that video available on the Google, on the web, The Psychology of Human Misjudgment. My request to all of you. Now with this, as I said, the mood in the market has changed completely. In the month of October, we were all worried about the market, kitna niche jayega. And today we are very close to the all-time high. What has really happened, and I think this market has really taught us one thing, this market will always remember my word, this market will always remember who are brave. This market will always punish those will try to time the market. अब कितना भी सियाना बन जाओ, market से ज़्यादा सियाना कौन नहीं है. And this is exactly what this market has taught. I know in our PMS, some of our customers said, "नहीं market तो नीचे जाने वाला, let me not get into the market." They must be really repenting now. Timing the market is a futile exercise. And that's why I say this market will reward always the brave, who is willing to see the downside, but at the same time, he will be equally rewarded with the upside. And that's what exactly happened. The month of October was all full of fear. The month of November is all about gain. The Indian market touched 4 trillion US dollar. This has happened first time in the history of India. And that's what I'm trying to say. If I would have asked you this question, what is the probability, in the December 2022, most of you would have been saying, अरे बस 4 ट्रिलियन तो कहाँ होने वाला है, बेवकूफ़ी वाली बात है. बिकॉज वहाँ पे तो बोलता है जो अभी एग्जिस्टिंग वो भी बचेगा कि नहीं बचेगा वो सवाल था. एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई सेड ब्रेव जो होगा ये मार्केट में पैसा बनाएगा. The moment you're too much fearful for no rhyme and reason, I think you will not make the money. In fact, I read one very interesting blog, of Mark Howard during the extended weekend that we had. He talks about the sea change in the market, and that's where he talks about that what worked in the last 20 years will not work. Why? Because in last 20 years or so, the rate of interest has become so low that that's, of course, he's talking about the US market. And hence, the complete investment thesis was a little different. And now we are entering a phase where the rate of interest cannot be zero. And if that is so, I think the way you tackle the market is a little different and so on and so forth. But anyway, I think these are the thought process that we need to keep going through. The point I'm trying to say is that Indian market has rewarded investors in various market cycles, whether it was 1991 or 92 Hudson Mehta crisis, whether it's a Asian financial crisis, Y2K boom and bust, that also coincided with the Ketan Parekh scheme that people call it. We had taper tantrum, we had global financial crisis, we have global virus crisis, we had demon and so on and so forth, and this market kept on rising. The one good thing which is, I put it in my next slide, is about that this is the first time which I've come across the article that the thought process, India could be the largest economy in the world, even surpassing the US. And that's what it says, that's what CLSA says, that by 2052, India could be 45 trillion US dollar economy, making it the largest in the world. It's not my statement. It is CLS's statement that has come. So I think that's why somewhere we need to keep understanding that it is India's decade, maybe it's India's century. I think all stars are aligning for India, and India is going to reap a huge benefits of that. Now look at this, 5 IPOs got, normally you don't see so many, and of course there's a technical reason. So I'll tell you why, technical reason, that you will see bunch of IPOs coming together every quarter. Why? Because the SEBI guideline says that you need to put a latest quarterly numbers. There's 130 days or something that, your numbers should be put in the prospectus. If the numbers are beyond 130 days, you're going public, and the last result, then you need to update. And many people don't want to refile the RHP, and they go for that. But what really surprised me, see, what does it indicate? That the amount of response that IPO got, unprecedented. The amount of money got collected, unprecedented. That shows that investors are really gung-ho about the sentiment. IREDA got listed 56% premium, and strong listing is expected even from the Tata Technology. In case if you have been got allotment in Tata Technology, I think you would see a substantial capital gain happening, which is going to happen tomorrow. FIIs were negative for a couple of months in a row, and they have turned positive near about 2,900 crore. The auto sales, and if you look at the data which has come in the US market about that Black Friday and Cyber Monday, the growth is in double digit in the US. And something similar happened in India during the festive time, and auto sales grew by 19%. That's what the FADA suggests. What is very interesting in that thing, if you look at that, the two-wheeler, which has been little laggard, has done extremely well. There was a one weak link within the auto space was automobile, two-wheeler, and that has started going. And what is another sweet spot with that rural demand has started coming back. So, last Thursday and Friday, I would have met at least 10 leading companies in the country which are into the BFSI space. And there was a one common theme that each and every, this is despite the fact that RBI, a couple of days before that, RBI came out and revised the risk weightage guidance. Am I right? And but each and every BFSI space told me that they're gung-ho about their business. They don't see much of an impact happening to their business. And that clearly gives a clear-cut idea. Now, as I was saying that in the US, the retail sales have been good because of the Black Friday and the Cyber Monday. But another good thing which markets started discounting there is that rate hike is ruled out in the US. A big possibility of rate hike is next to zero. That's what the probability is becoming more and more. And more experts now started believing that Fed will cut. Reading some, now since we are in the fag end of 2023 and a lot of people have started making predictions for 2024, and of course I'm also going to come and make that will make an attempt to predict how do we see 2024 on 1st January. So whatever the day, 1st January, if happens to be holiday, then I'll come in front of you on 2nd Jan. But that's what I will. But if you go to some of the experts there, everyone is saying that China worst seems to be over. If that's going to happen, I think that's will another boost that can happen to the world economy. So अगर आप देखोगे एक के बाद एक जो पैरामीटर्स थे मार्केट को नीचे जाने के लिए, whether it was a rising bond yield, whether it was an inflation, whether it's a geopolitical situation, because if you know that now there is a truce between the Israel and the Hamas, and that can get for the ceasefire can extend further also. Crude, which was surging, is come down. All things are falling in place, and I think that makes really very, very interesting. And as I told you that CLSA would be before Christmas. Unfortunately, we could do that. So that things are again all positive news. So things day after day, news flow has been very, very positive. I was just talking about the indices in the last 1 month. Mid and small cap 9.2 and 8.4%. और जो लोग वेट करें ना, people need to understand and realize that the growth in the earnings of a mid and small cap and the fund flow, that's a liquidity, I think that's going to keep the market, especially in the mid and small cap, at the elevated level. We had said in the beginning of 2023 that mid and small cap will outperform significantly to large cap. When the first half got over, and where definitely in the first half mid and small cap did extremely well, we said this will continue even the second half, and the alpha or the delta between the large and the mid cap will be further enhanced as compared to the first half, and that's what exactly is happening. Before I open the floor for question answer, let's quickly run through, because I made a statement that China could rebound, and I think China is willing to let go some deficit, in a sense expiry deficit, just to stimulate the economy. So you look at this copper prices, which really attracted my attention. This is in rupees kg. On 10th November, we were at 697 rupees per kg, which has gone to 717. And if you look at it, it's 1 month, it's a 1 month high. Now, will this trend continue? See, copper is a one commodity that gives you some flavor of what's going to happen in terms of the industrial demand. And I think this is what happened. It's too early to say that this trend will continue, but I think there's one sign which has really made me little optimistic. But that's something which is not similar with the aluminum prices. I mean, I'll also give you both the picture. I don't want to give a very a lopsided picture, but the aluminum prices, that's not been the case. It was 209 somewhere in the first week of November, which has come down to 201. So there is a decline. Zinc prices, not so much. Even though it's higher than what it was in in last 1 month, but it's not 1 month high. Okay, so that's where. And if you look at the steel prices, somewhere it started showing some amount of strength from by this to this. So there is some amount of this is there. Whether metal will get sustained, if China has to do well and so on and so forth, the price of the interest cost has to come down, I think it could be one sector that could really see some kind of this one. So these are all the possibilities. We don't know. Of course, I'll come in front of you in the first week of Jan and we'll discuss about what are the possibilities we are doing. I know some of you people may be a little concerned about the 5 assembly election, which outcome, and tomorrow is the Thursday. I think Telangana is going tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow only, if my memory serves me right. I may be wrong. And by evening, we will have a exit poll, and market will try to discount on Friday what can happen. And on December 3rd, that's on Sunday, we will have the result coming in. Right now, what the sense we are getting right now is that in Rajasthan, and this is all speculation, there is nothing called scientific this. So these are all the probability that BJP may form the government in Rajasthan. Madhya Pradesh looks like a tough fight. And these are two states that market will very, very closely watch in terms of that. But irrespective of what that happens, what the result is, okay, don't expect any substantial impact on the market sentiment on Monday. With this, let's open the floor for question answer. Namaskar, Sunil ji. What Dinesh ji is asking, what will be the long-term impact of SEBI new policy of sell your stock and get your payment same time? I think Dinesh ji, this is a very, very game-changing reforms. You sell and money comes in instantly, is going to increase further attractiveness to the equity as an asset class. So if you look at last 1 or 2 decades, market moved from physical to demat. Market moved from outcry system to the online. Am I right? And this is only help penetration of equity as an asset class further deeper and deeper. And with this coming in, Dinesh, I think it's going to be a game changing. No other assets class can give you instant redemption like this equity. Very in a transparent manner. आप गोल्ड लेते हो, उसमें आपको मेकिंग चार्जेस चला जाता है, आपका जो टैक्सेस दिया वो चला जाता है, उसमें वो बोलता है सर इसमें इम्प्योरिटी का भी मुझे थोड़ा निकालना पड़ेगा, तो दैट गोज अवे, एंड देन द प्राइस डिस्कवरी इज नॉट वेरी ट्रांसपेरेंट. Well, in equity market, the price discovery, real estate, to forget about it. It's highly liquid. Am I right? And plus, you need to pay brokerage 1% or 2% depending on which part of the country you are in. In city like Bombay, now it's 1%. And then there is a cost and other things, so and so. So I think, Dinesh ji, this is going to be a game changing. In fact, that will further increase the penetration of equity as an asset class to the largest section of the society. Ellen is saying, amazing, you predicted Nifty at 20,100 in January. Target hit 1 month ahead. Well done, sir. Heads up. Have another surprise before end December for you. Have another surprise before the end of December for you. Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. I did not get the second part of your question. So we maintain that market should close at 20,100 by December 2023. In other words, we don't expect further upside from this level. Despite the mood is good, we expect there could be a time correction in the market. That's what we are expecting. And as far as the prediction is concerned for 2024, I'll be come in front of you. Again, I'll try and make an attempt to predict what. So if you look at our prediction for 2022, what that dot on. Prediction for 2023 is a dot on. We wish that we can do hat-trick, and when we do a prediction by December 2024, whether it's dot or not. I must tell you also, I must confess that I've started working on my prediction for 2024. I'm just collecting a lot of data. I'm trying to understand what kind of scenario that will have. I'm also trying to, I'll make also another prediction whether the kind of outperformance that we have seen in mid and small cap in 2023, can we see that sustain, whether it gets sustained in 2024 or not. So I'll also try to do that. I've started collecting a lot of data, doing a lot of data analysis, data crunching, and I'll come in front of you. Thanks a lot, LNG, for remembering my prediction and appreciating it. Tejas has written a very long, so that's why the font size has gone a little smaller to make it. Tejas, Namaste. I've invested 1% equity net worth in Mojo One Phase. I'm 33 years. My income is 4 lakhs from my freelance hobby. My expense is 7 lakhs. And I live frugal, healthy life. My fixed income is 55 lakhs, which generates average 9% from bonds, corporate debt. After expense, my saving gets invested back to bond usually. I have 35 lakhs in moderate portfolio, 50 lakhs in mutual fund will be shifted to PMS by March 2. I plan to rebalance my equity debt to equal 730 every 2 to 3 years, depending on market movement, which can be done with model portfolios. PMS cannot be disturbed for any purpose. What ratio will I invest between power and soul? So, sir, first thing I got a little confused of you. Of course, Tejasji will love to welcome you in our PMS. I'm just getting a little confused with your this. My income is 4 lakhs from my freelance hobby, and my expense is 7 lakhs. Sir, I'm getting a little confused. If you are spending more than what your income is, where would the saving would be? So, am I reading something wrong, or is it some typo that we need to understand? What would be a ratio of 50 lakhs, sir? My request would be, we need more data points from you, to be very honest with you. And since you wish to come in March 2024, let us connect maybe on one-to-one basis. Drop an email to us at connect@mojopms.com. And we will have someone dedicated relationship manager who can get in touch with you, will help you to first get more data from you to whether we decide which risk profile is best suited for you, whether it's a soul or power. So my request would be, sir, when you are ready for PMS, do write to us and we'll help you at that point of time. See, it's not necessary that you need to take only soul or power. You can divide 50 lakhs between soul and power. That's permissible, possible. You can put 25 lakhs in soul and 20 lakhs in power also. That's also possible. You can put 30 lakhs in soul and 20 lakhs in power is also possible, and vice versa also. So what we will do, sir, let's write to us and we'll take it this offline, because we need more data points to really help us understand how you should be parking, what should be, because you say frugal life, but we don't know what is the savings, what is the contingency fund that you created for you, how many dependent members you have, whether you have taken your mediclaim, whether you have taken a life insurance or not. We need to get some more data on that to help you make a decision, Tejasji. But we'll love to welcome you in our PMS. Sagar, please advise if I have to invest fixed amount every year of good amount in every March. Should I invest in current existing model portfolio, create a new portfolio for better returns? This is a little confusing for me. So asking for question. See, Sagarji, if I would be in your place, I would put in my existing model portfolio only. Because then if you keep creating new model portfolio, eventually you will have too many stocks in the portfolio, which is not a very healthy sign. So I would suggest please add in existing model portfolio. That is the right way to do that. Shyam Dasari Saringas, can you please provide your outlook on the diagnostic sector? So, Dasari sir, I think the diagnostic sector, that price competition which was there is abating. That is for sure, because people did realize that the new tech, that company that came up, the likes of 1MG and so on and so forth, they came out with a very low price, and they also started increasing the price because they realized this model is not sustainable. So again, the pricing power is coming back. There's a lot of consolidation is happening within the sector. So some of the smaller players within the diagnostic space, they're selling the businesses to the more organized players, pan-India players. So I think that makes me believe that diagnostic sector should do well. Having said that, some of the diagnostic companies are commanding a very rich valuation. So hence, that's remind me of that the quote of Charlie Munger, and let me again revisit that. What did he say? Instead of buying fair business at wonderful prices, buy wonderful business at a fair prices. So yes, look at company specific and then decide whether you should buy into that. So the diagnostic sector is one study, and if you remember, we do this trend analysis, and when we did the analysis on that, on an average, what we've realized, the company that got listed, so what happens after listing? Do they still keep going up or not? And our analysis suggested that the company post-listing also keep moving up, which has happened in most of the time. And I think we analyzed last 2 years IPO or so. So my sense is that some of the IPO which got listed will go further up post-listing. So what should be a strategy? If you have not been allowed, please go ahead and buy on the listing day. Dheeraj is, I have to manage contingency fund. Suppose I want to keep Texas emergency fund. Where should I invest in? Very simple. So, okay. First thing, what is the quantum? There are two legs. So let me answer both the leg to the question. One is that two aspects to it. One is that kitna contingency fund ho jaye, kitna emergency fund ho jaye. That's I think is a very critical thing. And we keep saying, if you have a regular income, keep 3 years expenses as an emergency fund. If you are not very sure of your income, keep 5 years as an emergency fund. So for example, if your monthly expense is 50,000, साल का 6 लाख हुआ, multiply by 3, 18 lakh hona chahiye. Am I right? And that's a kind of a contingency that you need to fund, keep it, emergency fund. At the same time, please take your mediclaim. Okay, today, Mohit and I were discussing about insurance in some different contexts, and I was telling him that we were discussing, and then, we ask Mohit, तुम्हारा कितना mediclaim है? Of course, your company also provides mediclaim. Let's be very this one. And then I said, मेरा 50 lakh का mediclaim है, kind of a stuff. So contingency fund is also a function of how much mediclaim you have covered. Because क्या होता है, health emergency कभी भी आ सकती है, and I don't want you run short of money. So these are also another aspect that you should keep in mind. So coming back to your case, suppose you have taken care of that 3 saal or 5 saal depending upon your monthly expenses. And of course you need to also understand, do you have any milestone in the sense कि बच्चे के पढ़ाई का आने वाला है पैसा या शादी आने वाली है. Because I met someone I think last year in Delhi, and he said, Sunil, and that time we had an infinity service, and his daughter was supposed to marry maybe this year in 2023, because मैं उसको 2022 में मिला था. And I said, you can't keep your money in the equity market for that, because you know that you need an expense at the end of the year, and hence you need to basically budget for that. So where should you park your funds? Coming to that, my suggestion will be put in fixed income instruments, which is liquid in nature. अगर आपको मालूम है कि आपको 1 साल के बाद पैसा चाहिए, go with 1 year corporate FD or bank fixed deposit. I would still prefer a corporate FD because you will earn more money, but with the AAA rated only. Don't go for the AA also. Why? Because then you don't know whether if there's a default or not. So go with AAA rated, but put park in that. Now, otherwise, your contingency fund should always be in a fixed deposit with a bank or with a good corporate. That's the way you should. Because why? You can liquid. And one thing which you must always remember, don't park your funds, contingency fund, where your exit has become little difficult in the sense, or there is a money that you need to pay to exit from that thing. वो एक ध्यान रखना है आपको, बस 2 चीज़ रखना है आपको. And that's why, if you want to play little safe, I would say go with the bank FD. That's the safest way to pick your company. The idea is not to make money off time, to transfer sales from one demat account to another demat account. It's your demat account and even takes time. Second thing, when you give us the new money, our IP will look at the best stocks available as of today. While when you transfer the shares, if that company is a part of master list, we will not exit. Probability of that performance to better performance is the one when you give us the money. Why? Because it's looking at the best stocks available as of today. And that could be the reason that our RM would have advised you that. So, but of course, when you sell your shares and give us the money, okay, the problem is that you may also incur a capital gain and you need to pay capital gain tax. So that's a downside to it. But when you look at net that you will pay capital gain tax and then over returns, my sense is that if you give us the money, despite paying capital gain tax, you will be better off over a medium to long term. That's what my sense. So if the advice is right, please sell your holding and give us the money. We will look at the fresh, we'll look at the portfolio and we'll suggest you that. Gauri is asking, what is the fair price of any stocks? How to find? Please comment. Had it been so easy, everyone in the market would have been making money. And if you ask 10 experts in the market on the same company at the same point of time, everyone will come out with a different kind of a fair price on the same company at the same point of time, having the same kind of information. And that's one of the reasons many times you would have seen one broking house giving buy on this company, and on the same day, some broking house coming with the sell recommendation on the same company. So what is the fair price of any stocks? It's not so easy a formula. I don't. So the way I look at it, or the way MarketsMojo look at it, okay. First thing I'll give you the way I look at it, and then I'll also give you what MarketsMojo. The way I look at it is that, same going back to that Charlie Munger statement, wonderful business at the fair price. Now what that fair price means is that what is the intrinsic worth of this business going forward that helps me to buy today so that I can make wealth creation. Now I'll give you an example so that you can drive home the point, okay? So one of my best wealth came from a company which was a sum of all total business. So they had paper business, they had cement business, they had electrical business. And when I look at the market cap of that company, including the borrowings and so and so, and when I look at the individual business of that company, each division, let me forget about the company, each division should have commanded more enterprise value than the overall enterprise value of the combined enterprise value of the company. In other words, the business was going at almost 67% discount. It was one third ho gaya तीनों का. Am I right? 1x, 3x hua, the price was available at 1/3 x. And that's where I saw there is a fair value. And of course, one made a good money on that. Another fair value to look at is that, suppose it's a holding company, and by holding company it owns some shares in some of the listed entity, and the value of that value of that investment is much higher than what market cap this company is commanding. Another way to look at the fair value, so see, there is no one formula, okay. Another way to look at the fair value is that, okay, this company is growing at X. It has a potential to grow at the similar pace at going forward also. The market, the PEG ratio, that is price to earning growth ratio, is less than 1. And that would make me excited. So just don't look at the price to earning, don't look at price to book, don't look at price to sales. if it's a consumer business, and I was talking to someone about a business which is more of an FMCG, and I was saying if you get price to sales of any B2C business at 4x or 5x, and that's a good valuations. That's a fair valuation, I would put it. Am I right? But can I apply that price to sales a formula to banking stocks? The answer is no. Then there I have to look at what is the price to book value and what is the ROA, return on assets, to derive at whether the fair valuation is there or not. So that different sector will call for different. If I'm looking at cement companies, I look at EV per ton. Okay, am I right? And based on that, if the fair value is EV per ton is low, I would look to go for that. Okay, so that's the way. So I think different sector will have different. In MarketsMojo, what we look at is we basically look at we run a non-linear correlation on India Inc., dividing into company with borrowings, company without borrowings, and then we'll look at it. What is the price to book value that company is commanding versus the ROE that it's commanding. If logically the price to book value is less than what it should be commanding, it's a fair valuation. That means the valuation is low. There's a price of capitalization going up, and that along with that we also added PEG, dividend yield, and so on and so forth to make understand whether this company is commanding at the higher valuation or the lower valuation. But it's not easy, I must tell you that. In the real life, fair price valuation is a subjective, and hence someone will say buy, someone will say sell. ये नहीं होता. अगर had it been so easy, ये market ही exist नहीं करता. Why? Remember, in the market on a daily basis, on a second to second basis, on a minute to minute basis, there are two contra view available in the market. Why two contra view? Because the person who is selling believes that this company will go down, price will go down. That means it's quoting higher than the fair value. And the person who is buying believes that this company is quoting at below the fair value. That's why this company price will go up. Because there are two contra views available at the same point of time, the trade is taking place. That means there is a buyer and the seller both having exactly opposite view, and that's why the market exists. So fair value is a little complex. It varies from a sector to sector, and that's what it basically works. But having said that, even if you apply the same logic, what I was saying, there could be huge variance among the analysts. It's not easy. In fact, many people have spent many years to get the fair value right, and they've been able to do that. But and also fair value is also function of which market you are in. The fair value, you would be willing to pay the premium in the bull market, and you will not be willing to pay that premium in the bear market. Same company, same metrics, but your valuation can undergo tremendous change. Fair value can undergo tremendous change, and that's what happens. So yes, it's a little complex. There's a tech, but if you don't want to do too many things, just go to MarketsMojo website. We have a valuations which takes care of whether this company is trading at fair valuations or not. Okay, Vinit is saying, I'm reading articles where they write that recession is going to come in 2024. How much that will be impacted on India, and also due to the upcoming election 2004 of India, we don't know who will come in power. So what will happen if BJP and Congress comes to power? Okay. So I must tell you, Vinit ji, we are all living in a digital world. Just search for R word, that is recession in 2023. And that I am talking about, you search articles of November or December 2022. सब लोग यही बोल रहे थे कि recession होगा. There will be hard landing of US economy, if you remember that. And world is going to go through the crisis. कुछ हुआ नहीं. So I'll take this prediction with a pinch of salt. So I always say, when do you believe someone? When you believe someone who has a track record of saying something and it comes true, तभी आप उसको believe करोगे, am I right? 2024 में जो बोलते हैं रिसेशन, जो उन्होंने बोल रहे हैं ना, क्या है उनका प्रेडिक्शन? देखो ना 2022 में एंड में क्या था. Did they not predict that 2023 में रिसेशन होगा? In 2012 will happen in somewhere in April 2024. जब कोई जाके अपना फर्स्ट वोट देगा 2024 का जनरल इलेक्शन, कहीं ना कहीं वो अप्रैल में होने वाला है. वी आर इन द फैक्ट, नवंबर खत्म होने वाला है, दिसंबर, जनवरी, फरवरी, मार्च, अप्रैल, 5 महीना करीबन हम लोग, 4.5 महीना हम लोग. एंड इन पॉलिटिक्स 4.5 months is too long a period. Who knows who will form the government? Whether it's a BJP, whether it's a Congress or someone else, we don't know. But we do know that whoever formed the government, if market doesn't like that government for some reason, market will go down temporarily. But in 4 to 5 months, market will come to the terms and will start moving up. Historical trend suggests that market is little indifferent to the who forms the government, because we have a very strong democratic this one, and that will put a lot of checks and balance whoever comes to ensure that economy does not suffer. So our sense at this point of time, whoever forms the government, and of course I'll cover more in detail in my equity outlook 2024, where I'll go more in deep and I'll showcase you some data points. Of course, the data analysis has been done. So as I told you, I started making analysis on that. We'll come in front of you and we'll tell you what needs to be done, what could have implication. But right now, I must tell you, 2024, yes, market will talk about it, market will get jittery, I'm not disputing on that. But I don't think that's a factor that you should decide whether I should put money on or not. If I have to come in front of you in December 2025, that is 2 years down from here, market would be substantially higher. Then of course you can divide into two schemes, 25 lakhs, 25 lakhs. That's a for but as an investor, you should have minimum 50 lakhs to onboard you in the PMS service. And sir, we'll more than happy to guide you, sir. Please write to us at connect@mojopms.com. We will have more than happy to do hand holding with this. देखता है ना, वो धर्म देखता है ना कुछ दिखता है, वो तो देखता है भाई at this point of time कौन सा स्टॉक अच्छा है. So as and when your aggressive portfolio there is a churn, and if liquidity permits us, we will reallocate to the mid and small cap. That will happen automatically. That's how the system works. So there is not that आपके लिए नहीं दिया किसी और के लिए रिजर्व है, ऐसा नहीं है. See, we don't exit from a stock just because it's a large cap and mid and small cap is going to do well. And ऐसा जरूरी भी नहीं है सर कि जो स्टॉक आपके पोर्टफोलियो में है, इवन तो इससे लार्ज कैप इट विल नॉट आउट परफॉर्म, वो भी जरूरी नहीं. बिकॉज सी, when we say large and mid cap will do perform well, that not is every large and mid cap will do well. And when we say large cap will underperform, that doesn't mean that each and every large cap will underperform. What is more important, sir, for you, Bharat sir, whether your aggressive portfolio is outperforming the benchmark or not. As long as that's doing a job, it doesn't matter whether large cap is helping you to outperform, whether the mid cap is helping you to outperform, or small cap is helping you to outperform. What matters whether you're outperforming or not. If I give you small cap and mid cap in your portfolio still doesn't outperform, आपका फायदा क्या हुआ उसमें? कुछ नहीं हुआ ना. So it is not the constituents. What matters ultimately is that whether my portfolio is outperforming or not. And Bharat ji, if you can help us understand whether aggressive model puts are outperforming for you or not, that more critical than whether वो large cap में है कि mid cap में कि small cap में है. Satish is asking, in previous session we understood that paper stocks risk reward is in favor. However, we are witnessing a sharp decline in the last few weeks. How do we need to look at this? Your insight will really help. We continue to believe that paper stocks risk reward continues to remain in favor. See, sometimes some price movement can frustrate us. Sometimes it will also test our patience. But when it reverses, it gives a very bountiful of return. That we have seen that happening from June, July till September in the paper stocks only. Well, many paper stocks gone up by 50-60% also. After going up substantially, there will be some amount of profit booking. There will be, if you read my blog, which I wrote last month, when the correction happens, the weak stocks move from weak, the good stocks move from weak hands to the strong hands. And something similar is happening also in the paper stocks. If you look at the valuations, like someone asked me about the fair price, there's a huge margin of safety in the paper stocks. Well-managed companies, good growth, and good cash flow. And hence, we continue to believe they should do extremely well. So, TSGs, please continue to hold. Jayant is asking if the worst was China, so will there be an impact on Indian pharma where China was dominating in API? Okay, so I'll give a very classical thing, Yesterday I met the management of the India's largest bed linen company, which exports to the US. And then, he showed me one data which has been published by Otexa. Otexa is Otexa pe aap chale OTEXA, which is a site in the US which gives you an insights about how much home products are imported from which country. And he showed me the presentation there. And he said that China's sale and the bed linen is coming down over the years. अभी नहीं, in the US export. तो मैं उसको पूछा क्यों है, तो बोलता है सुनील जी क्या हुआ है, in China the people have become more and more rich. Their standard of living has become more and more rich. And due to that, the own consumption for these products have gone up substantially. And as a Chinese producer, then they thought whether we should export or whether we should supply to the domestic market. And they realized that domestic, it's better to supply more domestic market because वहाँ margin अच्छा है. And that's one reason why China's export to the US, of course, then there is a tussle and so that's happening. So now that's on a textile side. Now coming back to your pharma. See, if you look at it, Indian pharmaceutical sector did extremely well even when China was doing extremely well. अगर आपको याद है तो 2009 से 2013-14 में pharma did extremely well. That time China was doing extremely well. So I think your question is that whether China was dominating the API, they will continue to dominate API. I must tell you that also. It is not that because China slowed down, हुआ तो API में होते. I think some of the molecules that they can produce, the API they can produce, at the cost that they produce, India cannot produce. Of course, we need to this one. So China plus one policy is going to play out, whether we like it or not. Irrespective of what happens to the Chinese economy. See, China plus one policy is nothing to do with what is happening in the local economy. China plus one policy is more of a geopolitical, where how do you risk yourself from the China? Am I right? And that trend is going to play out, Jayantji, whether we like it or not. It's not a function of what's going to happen to the Chinese economy. So I think what Indian pharma is going to do, and see, remember, India pharma is doing well not because of slowdown in China. I think that's a strong, wrong correlation. Generic prices, which is US generic prices, going down and stabilized and started moving up. That's one. The domestic, what chronic as well as what we call chronic and I'm forgetting another word. There are two segments within the pharma. They both what we call started doing well. We are seeing double-digit growth in the pharma, domestic, which is also helping pharma companies to and many pharmaceutical companies also increase the prices of their formulations, which are not under DPCO. That's helped them to expand this. So I think it's in a way, it's more of a export and more of a domestic play that's playing out. And hence, China economy doing well is not going to slow down the growth in the Indian pharmaceutical company. That's what I can tell you. Mohan Kumaranjan says कि यार nice to see you are doing great for all of us. ईद का चांद बन गए हो. सर क्यों ऐसा बोल रहे हो मुझे? Last week I was there in front of you with Joyson. One before that I was with Mohit. I know I have not been coming almost daily now because I got busy with the PMS. But today and I think going forward I'll be there because Mohit was doing webinar. And then we have one on this time slot, so I could not do it. But henceforth I'll be regular in front of you. Today I'm there with you. Tomorrow I'm with my PMS customers. I'm going to present some interesting data to them. Very good insights that I've created on that. Day after tomorrow I'm going to be in front of you again with the equity outlook. So तो ईद का चांद नहीं हूँ सर और नहीं ना बनूंगा. I love talking to you people. I get a lot of insights. I learn a lot of you from you people. So sir, I'll be in front of you, sir. Yes, I have been a little irregular in last 15 days, but that's because we did not have a time slot for a webinar. But again, I'll be there in front of you, sir. Nimesh ji is asking, can I provide you data on the PMS since inception? Of course, sir, I can provide you. If I can, just give me 2 minutes. I can give you that data. I think I did that data. 1 second. I need to search for it because we ended a presentation. So 1 second. I'll just show you, sir. Do give me 2 minutes. I need to open the slide. Yes, can you see the slide? This is as of October 2023, 31st October 2023. The sole, as you all know, the SEBI now mandate us to in PMS TWR returns, 4.3% versus benchmark 2.02, more than 100% outperformance. Power, 4.76 versus 1.18, 3.5 out alpha, more than 300%. Please note, past performance is no indicator of future returns. This data is as of 31st October 2023. Good evening, sir. Amol is saying Mojo stocks which gone to trade segment will not show any movement. As a result, this score may come down. Is in such a case, shall we hold Mojo stock till they come out of trade segment or exit where the score gets eroded? Sir, you should exit when the score gets eroded. I don't think trade basically a reason for you to get out of any Mojo stock. So I don't think that's a right strategy. So I wouldn't recommend you do that. I know the question will continue. It's more than 1 hour now. Thanks a lot for everyone having a patient listening. I'll not be Eid ka Chand, that's my promise. I'm there tomorrow with all my PMS customers with some interesting data point. And on Friday, I'll be in front of you with equity outlook. So please do join me. Have a great time. Enjoy. Things are turning positive. जो बादल थे चिंता के वो आस्ते आस्ते कम हो रहे हैं. Market is again gaining its own momentum. Having said that, don't expect too much gain in the month of December. Of course, I'll discuss that more in my December outlook. Our outlook for Sensex remained at the same level, 68,000 for the December 2023 and 20,100 for Nifty 50. With this, thanks a lot everyone taking time out. Good night. Take care.